to help to fan those flames. And it's not just a Colorado issue. We've been dealing with those wildfires across the central U.S., even into the northeastern states. Here's a look at smoke emission and active fires right now. A lot of those burning into the plains. But again, remember, we've seen those fires into parts of Jersey, into parts of New York. So even where it's been hot and dry across sections of the Northeast, we have seen the fire issues. And we're getting into that time of year, of course, where fires become more and more prevalent. Moisture over the last 3 hours, you can see it's exceptionally dry back into parts of New Mexico, even sections of Kansas. But we've seen the moisture on the increase, have some showers across sections of West Texas. But up there into Colorado, Pueblo area, Pueblo County, man, it is bone dry, and that is not doing us favor. So it's drying out everything on the ground. Obviously, all the tinder is dry, and that means these fires can be explosive. Red flag warnings remain in effect for the areas in that darker shade of orange. The lighter shade of orange, that's the fire weather watch. So it's that time where, we don't do outdoor burning. We think about how we're disposing of cigarette butts, thinking about using any kind of equipment that would throw sparks off as well, especially when you're dealing with that really, really dry grass and other stuff on the ground, right? A lot of the plants, a lot of the grasses, they're dried out, and so they could easily light if given the opportunity. Today, we could see isolated dry thunderstorms, and you're like, what is a dry thunderstorm? That would be when the rain's evaporating before it reaches the ground out of the thunderstorm, but obviously the lightning reaches the ground. So a dry thunderstorm is thunder, lightning, but the rain is not reaching the ground. So you don't get saturation, and instead you just have that risk of lightning starting fires. And then an elevated fire potential today across parts of New Mexico, Texas, and the state of Oklahoma. Fire weather forecast impacts. When they're elevated, you've got brush and grass fires easily spreading, and small fires can be easy to control. Obviously, as you up the ante to critical or extreme fire danger, that gets us into, more tricky situations, especially when it comes with controlling these fires. Critical fires can be difficult to control when you've got an extreme fire risk or fire weather forecast. Fires start quickly, spread like crazy, and they may be unmanageable. So obviously here, as we get into the, fire time of year, Mike, want to be up to date on what these statements mean.
Yeah, 100%.
Big temperature swings headed your way. A place like Washington, D.C., expect those temperatures to rise through much of the week. So as we bring up the pillars, we've got some hotter days ahead. Today, upper 60s. We'll stay there tomorrow. Both days offering up a mix of sun and clouds. But look at Wednesday's forecast. Sunny skies, temps in the upper 70s. By Thursday, we're in the upper 80s. We end the week around 90 degrees. So again, we up the ante. Then we'll see the showers come in on Saturday. Obviously, knock us back closer to average for our temperatures into the upper 70s, then even upper 60s headed your way on Sunday. So truly Washington, D.C., a case of what goes up must come down. So if you like the heat, you have those days to look forward to. If you don't, just know you're going to get through it and things will cool off as we head into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures today in the 70s for Oklahoma City, 60s in Louisville and Baltimore, Syracuse in the 50s, but 20s up there in Marquette where we've got the snow showers falling. Obviously the cooler air focus there with that dip in the jet stream, our area of low pressure. We've got another low moving into the western part of the country. Dr. Nab breaking down how that's going to implicate us for some severe weather midweek. As that warm air rebuilds into the middle part of the week, we'll see those temperatures on the rise for much across the central and eastern U.S. So each day, the above average contingency of the country is going to be growing. By Thursday, 134 million people with highs above 80 degrees. Here's your Wednesday highs. Wichita at 84. Same for St. Louis, Nashville, Atlanta, and for Charlotte. Baltimore will make it into the mid 70s. By Thursday, Baltimore, you're in the mid 80s. So again, you're seeing that temperature rise before they fall back down. But Mike, another week of very warm temps.
Indeed, Alex, for that. Certainly we know that hurricane season is going to be here before we know it. Our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Nab, is with us. A lot of the seasonal predictions came out last week. Also, the El Nino watch came out last week. All those things, considering, what is your takeaway from all that and what the season may then hold?
Well, boy, we're hearing a lot of discussion out there. I go around town, people talk to me, oh, I heard El Nino's coming. I heard it's going to be a quieter season. That is where the discussion is trending, right? So I want to talk about, is it really as good a news? Not every El Nino year is created equal. Sometimes you have a weak El Nino, sometimes moderate, sometimes strong. And also, even if you have El Nino, doesn't mean you can't have one bad hurricane come through. So let's look a little bit at the history here. This is a map of all of the hurricanes that have struck the continental United States during El Nino years.
It's a lot.
And then go back to really notorious ones like Camille and Agnes. And you have all the way up to Cat 5 making landfall in El Nino years.
Doesn't this give credence to that whole doesn't have to be a busy season to be a bad season? I mean,
those were in weak El Nino years. Okay, fair point. So I'll take off the weak El Nino and we'll look at just the moderate and strong El Ninos. You're still left with Cat 4 Audrey hitting the Gulf of Mexico. You still have Agnes. You still have landfalling hurricanes. And even if you go to the rare, really strong El Ninos, you can't shut down the Gulf of Mexico, even in the strongest of El Nino years.
But the chances of that happening are probably pretty slim. Since we're at neutral right now, things would have to happen fast.
They would. It's possible. It's happened before. Audrey happened in a year like that. Audrey in 57 was after a triple dip La Nina, and then we went all the way to a strong El Nino. And in June, we got a Cat 4. So the point here is that, oh, and by the way, here's an honorable mention. A strong El Nino in 2015. No landfalling hurricanes in the U.S., but boy, did we get lucky because Joaquin was a Cat 4 that hit the Bahamas and sunk the Alfaro.
Right.
I mean, so if you think that the hurricane season is not a problem because we have El Nino, that's taking a big risk. Now, a lot of folks have said, Nab, why are you trying to pour cold water on our hope, right? But I want you to have legit hope that if you do get a storm during El Nino year, you've got the insurance, you've got the shutters, you got everything you need in case it happens.
Important to do. And again, no one's ever said, I was too prepared.
I was over-prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, shame on me, right?
What an idiot.